Come into this circle of community. Come into this sacred place. Don't be reluctant. Bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing, and bring your kindness and your compassion. Bring also your sorrow, your pain. Bring your brokenness and your disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together.
Please open your hymnals to number 322 and join in singing, "Thanks Be for These." Join in our affirmation found on the card in the pew in front of you, followed by the doxology. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is the sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Today, if you're visiting us, or if you have never been to church on a Youth Sunday, we welcome you. Today we turn over the pulpit and the worship to our young people to lead us and nourish us and teach us and speak to us of what they know. Today they are focused on our theme year, our year of the creative spirit and creativity and how it works through the spiritual life. And so you will hear more about that from them today. But first, I want to ask Paige Mulry to come forward and give us a testimonial about Paige.
The First Unitarian Church of Dallas is my home without being my house. Family gathers here, yet not everyone is related. Our hearts are warmed with just a single flame. This is the place that 25 years ago my parents were joined in marriage, and where 16 years ago I was dedicated as a new UU. So many friendships have been made in this special place, and so many are waiting to be made. I thank the God of many names every day for being able to call this place my church home. This community has taught me that everyone has inherent worth and dignity. Growing up as a Unitarian Universalist in a non-Unitarian world is not an easy task. I was always asked what we believe, but even as a third-generation UU, I regret to say that sometimes I could not answer that question in full. For example, who takes a class called Our Whole Lives that teaches all about human sexuality in church? Who gets to take a heritage trip to Boston and spend time at Walden Pond for church? That's what makes this place so beautiful. These days, I find myself in a spiritual rut. I wonder things like, what is it all about? And what do I truly believe? But luckily, I am able to come here and not be judged by my doubts. I am able to ask my questions with no fear of being wrong or being looked down upon. My young religious Unitarian Universalist peers are so helpful in this journey, and I could not thank them enough for the highly intelligent insight they provide me. It is so rewarding to be part of such a reassuring group. Even though my beliefs will likely change in the future, I am so happy that this place is accepting of me and encourages questioning. Every night before I go to bed, I pray. I ask for help, I give thanks, and I reflect on all of my many blessings. Thank you to all of you for allowing me to be a part of this amazing and energizing community. Even when I have my doubts, I feel gratitude towards all of you and my YRUU friends and advisors for helping me along the way. I am truly blessed.
Can I get an amen? So that is the beginning of Youth Sunday and what you will hear today. We are so glad you're here with us.
Today's reading is from A Rule to Break, A Child's Guide to Anarchy by John Seven and Jana Christy.
I hereby pledge to always question authority. I promise to never do as I'm told, simply because someone bigger or wearing a suit is telling me to do so. I promise to always help out animals and bugs. They're smaller than us and don't need us giving them grief.
I promise to always be a good pal, but only so long as my pal is not acting like an idiot. I promise to do what I want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. I promise to say what I want as long as it's not mean.
There's no wrong way to color, so I'll cover however I want, wherever I want, and whenever I want. I promise to cause all sorts of mischief. And I also promise to jump up and down wildly whenever I hear the Ramones, especially after midnight.
Let us pray. God of many names and mystery beyond all our naming, we come here today in awe of creation and in the spirit of community. We find inspiration in the world around us. We find solace and comfort in each other. We are here in the world to create. Everything we do is an act of creation. Every word we speak has meaning. Every choice we make affirms the human capability to make the world a better place by choice, as a community and as human beings. We are called upon in our lives not only to create works of art and beauty, but also to do works of love. And so we are here. Today we give thanks for the quiet walls of the sanctuary, where we can take time from the rushing current of our lives to pause and think. We give thanks for this community and for each other. We give thanks that we can comfort each other when the world seems too heavy to bear. We give thanks for the community that will laugh with us when life is happier. In good times and in bad times, we move together as a larger whole, as a loving community. We offer prayers of thanks. We pray for hope and comfort. We pray for love and celebration, for this community, for all humankind, for all creation. Let us pray. We offer our prayers for Betty Plumley, Shirley Rubenstein, Nada Kissinger, Wynne Galbraith, Rachel Castrillon, Patty Keller, and Gemma McLaughlin. These and the prayers of our heart we pray now in silence. We pray in the names of all those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten. We pray in the names of all the helpers of humankind. Amen.
In kindergarten, I dreamed of being an artist, but my teacher said that I might want to pick a more logical, practical job. Being an artist is really difficult. Since this, I found I have a hard time being creative or creating anything. Creativity is defined in the Webster's Dictionary as the ability to create. I could not agree more with this definition. The reason being is because ability is something we can stretch and we can create, whereas talent is not. Talent is innate, something you're born with. Ability is not. You can create it. Nonetheless, the artist who paints a pretty picture has created beauty, thus is creative. So the people the world calls creative tend to be the artists. The next Claude Monet's, Pablo Picasso's, Marie Cassette's are seen as the only ones that possess the ability to create. I must admit, I too believed creativity was a thing for artists, not for logical thinkers such as myself. Logical thinkers are the left-brain people, the ones that enjoy deeper thought, or enjoy a problem just to have a challenge, purely for the challenge. For instance, when I was told by my Spanish teacher to get creative for our upcoming project, I rolled my eyes and informed her that I use logical reasoning, not creativity. One lesson I learned rather quickly was that it's not wise to roll your eyes at someone who controls your grade. This lesson also taught me something else. Thinking logically and being creative are not exclusive. The word create is defined as to cause to come into being, as something unique that the world would not naturally evolve or that is not made by an ordinary process. To me, this means taking a different and new approach to a problem. With regards to creativity, using these definitions, logical thinkers have the ability to create as much as artists do. I can be creative in my everyday tasks, such as cooking, by way of creating new recipes using previous knowledge. Even more so, I can take this idea into my science class. In physics, I can take water and create hydrogen by use of a battery. Then I can use this hydrogen to help my sister blow up party balloons for a surprise party. Then I've produced a higher level of relief in my sister. It's one less thing she has to worry about before the party. I've then also created joy within another person, who couldn't be more excited about balloons everywhere. Call this my way of creating or being creative. What is more, I'm now saying that any time I take a problem and solve it a different way than it has been solved before, I'm being creative. Paint, not necessary. As Pluto once said, necessity is the mother of invention. So too is this true with creativity. When we need it, we have it. Because creativity is not just painting. It's taking a new look to a problem in a different light.
When I was a little girl, I was a teacher. You may say that I was only imagining like all of the other little girls, but no, this was different. I had a career, a husband, and 12 plush children by the age of 6. My name was Martha. I was 38 years old, and I taught first grade, and I was married to a giant bear who conducted trains. When I entered this world, I, Katie, no longer existed. I had an altered voice, a different way of thinking, even different mannerisms that I'd picked up from the adults that surrounded me. I would sit at school during the day, idolizing my teacher, daydreaming about the school day that hadn't really begun yet, the school day that began that afternoon in my classroom. The school day where I was the one standing at the whiteboard, where I became the teacher. The older I got, the more enveloped in this magical world I became. Lakeshore Learning Store was my Toys R Us. The smell of new workbooks and whiteboard markers in every color made me grin. Katie's bedroom had been completely taken over by Martha's classroom. However, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I was truly in love with teaching. Everything felt so real when I was Martha. I was not a little girl simply playing school. That would have truly offended me as a child. Teaching was my life. It was how I figured out life around me. It was how I expressed myself. It was a huge part of me that had to be let out. In a way, it was a sense of control. When I was 10 years old, I was diagnosed with leukemia. Throughout all of my hospital stays, chemo days, and sick weeks, the thing that I missed most was teaching school. I had to get myself back in my classroom, no matter what it took. So I did. Even if I had to transform the hospital room into one, much to the dismay of my nurses. Nothing was going to stop me from doing what I not only loved, but needed desperately in my life. I taught school until I was 12 years old, way past the age of baby dolls and pretend for most preteens. However, I dared to be different and continued until it was so socially unacceptable that it started to feel like less like teaching students and more like talking to myself. My classroom became a bedroom again, and I became a teenager. I now look back and know that although maybe I was talking to myself, and maybe I never became anyone but the 6-year-old little girl I was, those were some of the best days of my life. I created something. I created a real person with children and a job. I created a classroom. I even created a curriculum. I was creating a different world than the one I existed in, not using only my imagination, but my brain. Children play to express what they are seeing and feeling in the real world. They become doctors and cooks. They become moms and veterinarians. They become teachers. They mimic the world around them and create based on their own experiences. I always thought I would be a first-grade teacher. I never dreamed I would follow any other career path. However, as I got older, I became very interested in psychology. I reached a roadblock. Should I follow the dream that I've always had my entire life? Or should I explore a new dream? After much thought, I discovered play therapy, and it clicked. It was the combining of two dreams into one large passion. I made the best of both worlds. I realized that although I was teaching, it was play that allowed me to enter this world. I wanted to work with children on a daily basis through their way of communication, play. Maybe I'll meet a few teachers, who knows? In a way, I believe we still play. Maybe not in the childish way that you immediately think of, but in a modest, more developed way. We are still creating with our imagination and minds. Different aspects of our lives are different forms of play. I believe that it is so important to overcome our own social boundaries and get outside of the box. Let out our inner child, because we all know that we still have one. Get silly and do what you enjoy, even if it's not what your family or friends might enjoy. Like the Oath of Anarchy states, there is no wrong way to color. Engraved on a ring that I wear on my finger, it says, one of my favorite sayings, remember to play. It reminds me, and I hope all of you, that throughout life's seriousness and obstacles and challenges, take a moment and be creative and remember to play.
For me, the arts have always been an escape. Through drawing, I'm able to tap into my emotions and throw them onto the page in front of me. And when I'm unable to find strength in myself, I find it in the characters I play on stage. Creativity is somewhat addictive. I haven't found a feeling more satisfying than breathing life into a sketch, a scene, or a script. Although I enjoy living in my artistic bubble and staying as far away from any calculus course as possible, I would like to argue against two common misconceptions: that people who are less artistic are less creative, and that you are stuck with whatever creativity you were born with. I believe this could not be more false. So math-minded people who have given up on this artistic homily, listen up. First, let's throw out this left brain, right brain for a second. We should stop trying to use our dominant hemisphere as an excuse to not do something. Creativity is used in math, engineering, architecture, and physics all of the time. Sure, the sciences are based off of fact, but I promise you that when pi and gravity were first thought up, it took a lot of creative flexing of the laws in existence. We all take the sun being in the center of the universe as fact, but Copernicus probably had to do a lot of fiddling with the solar system before settling on that idea. Parents are some of the most creative people I've ever met. Who else could come up with the idea of storks bringing babies? That's untapped creative genius that a parent threw out there just to dodge a tough question. I think at one time my parents had me convinced that all the televisions had to be turned off at 9 o'clock at night, or else the lights in the White House would go off. I was frequently punctual to bedtime for the sole purpose of not wanting the president to have to sign treaties by the light of a lantern. Parents are some of the craftiest creators I know. So no matter if you're a mathematician, a stay-at-home parent, or a comic book illustrator, I think we can all agree that bending the rules in the subject you love feels amazing. I'm in a club at my high school dedicated to improvisational theater. There are no scripts, there are no preconceived notions of what will happen on stage, and there are no rules. When I get up in front of everyone to do an improv scene, my hands are always shaking. I can't help but be nervous. I'm terrified until all of a sudden I hear myself talking. It's barely a conscious creation as I blurt out, "Martha, what did I tell you about attaching rockets onto the dog?" Suddenly, that's our reality. For the next 5 minutes, ideas will flow freely and flutter through thin air as the actors create a new reality for the audience to escape to. Ideas will slowly take shape as the actors in the audience simultaneously figure out what shall be done about Martha's rocket problem. People are constantly telling me after they see me act in an improv scene that they could never think on their feet like that. Although I'm flattered, I want to tell them that they do it all of the time. Life is improvisational. None of us have any clue what will happen next, and that is what makes all of us so special. Anything from dealing with a flat tire in a strange neighborhood to fighting boredom in the office is creativity. And even people without a proclivity for art or music or theater can be a part of it. Creativity is a beautiful release of energy that everyone is capable of. Although I love to draw and practically dissolve when I walk into a math class, I think we can all agree that if I practiced enough, I could figure math out, even if I don't have a natural knack for it. For some reason, many people don't think this applies to the other side of things. We assume that I could learn math, but that some people are just born completely void of all creative drive. You can practice being creative. To quote the rapper Macklemore, "The greats weren't great because at birth they could paint. The greats were great because they paint a lot." Now, I doubt Vincent van Gogh and I have the same eye for color or knack for proportion in our childhood drawings, but that doesn't mean there's no hope for me. There is hope for everyone to creatively express themselves, and no one great artist, inventor, or mogul corners the market on creativity. If we all acknowledge that creativity takes practice and not everything you make will be a masterpiece, then we can start doing and stop worrying. I'm sure you all know what worrying I'm talking about. The fear that it's already been done, the fear that it won't do what you want it to do, or worse, the fear that it just won't be that good. At a certain point that I have not gotten to yet, one must put all that fear aside and practice. Freely practice and freely fail, because that's what's impressive and that's what makes you better. So surprise, creativity is not a DNA coding, but actually something that you just have to work at. Therefore, I challenge you to go home and make something. Maybe it's a pie chart, maybe it's a song or a recipe, a sketch or a new word. Just go and create. Don't worry if it's been done before. Don't even worry if you have to copy the image straight from Google, because it's for you. It's for your eyes and for your benefit, not others. I'd like to finish with a quote by Ira Glass. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste, and your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit. We all go through this. And if you're just starting out or you're still in this phase, you gotta know it. And the most important thing you can do is to do a lot of work. It's gonna take a while. It's normal to take a while. You've just gotta fight your way through it.
Before we close, the youth would like to recognize everyone who helped make this service possible, including our wonderful advisors, and especially Ed Westmeyer, who spent all day with us yesterday during our rehearsal to ensure that we had the quality of sound we needed. Each Sunday, we end our time together with a song. We'd like to teach it to you now. The words are simple, and many of you will remember it from years past. The words are, good friends, let me tell you how I feel. You have given me a treasure, I love you so. We will sing it to you once, then we will all sing it together once. Then we'll all sing it through twice as a 3-part round. Breaking the sections here, here, and here. Good friends,
before me, and beauty is behind me. Above me and below me hovers the beautiful. In my youth, I am aware of it, and in old age, I shall walk quietly the beautiful trail. In beauty, it has begun. In beauty, it is ended.